Well, I've been sort of trying to research my codeine addiction, and I just thought I'd video document this journey, just for myself, I suppose. So my issues started 15 years ago, and I had some abdominal pain. I was in a relationship that wasn't great. I was a year and a half in to a relationship. I did love him dearly, but he was aggressive, abusive, drunk. And I found out that, he cheated on me and blah, blah, blah. Still married the fool, but anyway, who's the fool? So for the abdominal pain, my friend brought me over some Mesindal Night Strength. So I had 2 of those. Now, I've never taken tablets before, ever. Never done drugs or anything like that. So anyway, she said, take these. The pharmacist said these would be good for your abdominal pain. So I did. I took them and they knocked me out. So I took them in the afternoon and I was passed out. It was wonderful. I had sensory deprivation. I had nothing. My world just stopped. I slept. I had no pain, physical or emotional. And that felt good. I chased that feeling then all the time. I wanted to stop the pain. The initial part was to stop the abdominal pain, but then, of course, when I worked out what this was doing, it also blocked the emotional pain that I was having. So that's when it all started. I started off with 2 tablets, and then over the course of a few years, it escalated to up to 40 tablets a night. Now, I only took them at night. I didn't take them during the day. If in saying that, if I had a chance during the day and I wanted to have a sleep, I'd take some then. It felt like it was a reward. So what I was doing was rewarding myself with stopping the pain. So I couldn't feel anything. I'd just go to sleep and I didn't need to feel. That's why I continued on the path for so very long. When Australia brought in the scary notion that they were going to make these prescription only, it was terrifying. I did not have any idea how I was going to cope. I had no idea how to stop it, how to get off it, because at this point, I was doing, obviously, anyone that knows this addiction will know you chemist shop. So I would drive an hour if I had to go to a pharmacy anywhere that would not question me so much, or because, they brought in to the point where then you could get them over the counter, that was fine. And then they brought in that you could get them over the counter, but you had to show a license, which made it a little tougher because they all documented you could only get a box of 40 in 5 days. So as you can imagine, a box of 40 for me would last 1 or 2 days maximum. So I had to then think of ways around the system, which sounds so devious and so not like me. And the fact that every single day I woke up and I thought, shit, where can I go today? And I had a list of pharmacies. I had a list of the ones that were easy, that didn't ask a lot of questions. I had lists of ones that I would go to the least because they were pretty savage on it. They'd look up your history and they were tough. So those ones I didn't go to as much. I tried to keep them as my backup if I really, really needed it. So from town to town, I would chase every day the pharmacy to get my tablets. And I would feel so good when I would look over on my bedside table and I would see packets, like it was a score. Like I'd drive to New South Wales, where at that point you didn't need to have a license. You could still get them over the counter easy in New South Wales without hardly a question. So I would go down there, and sometimes I'd get my kids to get them. And let's stock up. I'd come home from New South Wales to visit and I'd have 10 packets of 40. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that feeling that gave me of knowing I had that stash was a relief. I felt really good. I felt really happy. I felt safe. it was just good, and it was sort of satisfying to know that I wasn't going to run out. If I needed more, they were there. If I needed less, just depending on what was going on the day, because that would vary as to how many I took. So 14, 15 years down the track now, they bring in January 2018, they bring in the law where that's it. It's now prescription only. So I came up with a plan last year, middle of last year, knowing this was coming, that I was going to start cutting down, weaning myself off. And I did that. I was going good. I was down to 10 a night. I even got down to a point, not regularly, but I could do 6. Like, that was massive. That's massive. I moved to a new job. The new job was, to me, hell on earth. It physically and emotionally, I'd never been in an environment like it. And I'm still here today, but things are better. So that gave me then permission to go, well, no, can't do it. I cannot try and cut these down now. So I just, of course, went straight back to it. Straight back. So all that good work I'd done, it's totally out the window and straight back up to the highest high, between 30 a night. So December comes around, starting to panic, got a little stockpile. I thought, yep, I can do this myself. Got through Christmas, and yep, it came, and I thought, you know what, go to the doctors. I was terrified, so scared, thinking that if I came clean and told the doctor honestly the sheer amount of tablets I've been taking for the length of time I've been taking them, they'd lock me in the nut ward, or they'd put me in, or some psycho ward, or they'd put me in a rehab, or I had no idea. I made up all of these scary things in my brain just out of total fear and panic, and I was panicking. And I remember going and seeing this doctor, and sitting there, and I was shaken, and I was like teary. I was really finding it hard to breathe, and I told her everything, the whole lot. She just sat real quiet. She just listened. And after I'd finished, I was just like, wow, I felt like 10 kilos lighter. Particularly when I realised then she wasn't judging me. She, of course, was amazed by the story, amazed by the sheer amount that I was taking, and for how long I was taking it for, and how I was still walking around, still alive. So then we came up with a plan. There were a few ideas thrown around, and I tried cold turkey once myself. I had one night off in 14 years, and I nearly died. The side effects of not having these tablets, the physical side effects were horrendous. The pain, the sheer pain that my legs and arms were, that's where it developed most in me, my forearms and the tops of my legs. I would have like these spasms. My whole body would just like kick and shake like this the whole time, and I'd feel sick, and I was so anxious. I worked myself up so much. The panic of not having them was very, very real for me. Back to the doctors. So she was good. She said I could go on, what's that stuff that you get off, heroin? Because apparently this addiction is just as savage, if not more harder to get off than heroin. That scared me. That made me go, oh, wow. Yes, I know I abused the tablets, but I had no idea how bad they really were. Methadone, that was it, and I didn't want to do that. So we just started on the weaning process. So we would, we started on a plan of just taking one tablet, go for a week or two, see how I go, then work it down and work it down and work it down. So I did pretty good. I did pretty good. My brain was really struggling with the whole concept of doing this. My brain screaming at me the whole time saying, don't do it, don't do it. Look, you've got a ton of tablets. Just take them, because the doctor would give me a script for 80 tablets at a time because we needed to do the process. And I'm thinking, look how many you've got here, just do it. Anyway, I didn't, so I stuck to it. So I would go and see my doctor every week, and by about week 5, I had come down enormously in the sheer amount of tablets I was taking. I got back down to 6, back down to 5, back down to 4. I was so driven. I so wanted this to end. I so wanted it over. I wanted this shameful secret I had that I've kept secret for many, many years. Lived a double life, basically, in that part. I just wanted it over. I just wanted to stop, get off this train. Anyway, well, I was so excited that I was doing so good, but I had a bit of a relapse. I had a shitty day, some crap happened, and I gave myself permission to jack it back up again. So I did. I went fine. So I whacked a gutful of tablets down my throat, and within half an hour, all I wanted to do was throw up. I was so sick. Now, I can take 40 of those tablets normally. Nothing. No wanting to be sick. No, nothing. These ones, oh my God. So having the relapse nearly was the best thing for me because it reinforced in my brain that really not cool. You don't want to be doing this. This is not cool. So that was good. Went back to the doctor, of course, told her everything. And I have 2 great doctors. I tell you what, brilliant. The second doctor I see, who I see more of now because the other doctor's away, she's brilliant. I was going to see a psychologist, but I found my doctor far, far more enlightened and understanding in this case, in what I needed her for. So I see her every week. I have a long appointment with her, and we just talk about where I'm at with it, where my head's at, why my head's at it, where the side effects are of my body, and learning about what the drug does to your system is just scarily fascinating. No one has a clue. No one has a clue what coming off these drugs is like unless you're doing it yourself. And I don't know of anyone that's in my same boat. It's a secret squirrel business. It really is. No one wants to talk about it. So going to my doctors is great. I've got a good, amazing support network with friends. And of course, my kids. And finally came clean and told my mum, which was like the hugest thing in the world. I never thought I'd be strong enough to be able to tell my mum, albeit I told her over the phone, but I still told her. And I don't think she fully understands the sheer amount. I told her the numbers and she was like shocked. But yeah, what that's like. Anyway, I've done it. So telling her and coming clean and being able to talk about it now between friends and family is just so liberating. I feel a different person. The shame, although I still have it, I never thought I would be a person that would ever be in this boat. I am not a scungy druggo, but you know what? I am a prescription drug addict, always will be. Every single day I wake up and I want to go back to sleep and have these tablets. It's not going to go away. I will always abuse any form of drugs like that. Sleeping tablets, the amount I've done over the years is ridiculous. So coming off all of that to now, I'm at two tablets, which is challenging. I must admit it's hard, but now I've been on 2 now for 4 nights. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it kind of is a little bit of a big deal. So of course I'm not sleeping. And of course a lot of that has to do because I was having the Dolacid, the Mesindel Night Strength. It has the analgesic calmative effect also. So, the worst part of the drug is the paracetamol. So you add up how much paracetamol is in 40 tablets of that, and you take that every single day. It's not cool. It is not good. It is not good at all. Anyway, I'm sort of a bit off topic, and I hate when that happens. So it's now towards the end of April. So this journey's been 3 months, and even though my doctor is thoroughly blown away by how quickly I've come down, I'm still feeling like it's not enough. Like I've got this guilt thing where I should be off them now, well and truly. But in realistic terms, I would be setting myself up to fail. So as the doctor said, slow and steady. She said, if it takes you a year to get down and stay on 2, that in itself is brilliant. So getting the reassurance from a doctor's point of view has made it easier for me to deal with, and I am being a little softer on myself now. I am being a little kinder, and I'm giving myself permission to say, you know what, you're doing pretty bloody good. So I just keep doing that. 2 nights ago, had a shit day. There's an underlying theme here. Had a shit day. I popped out 10 tablets. I had them in my hand. I looked at them, and this part of me just went, don't do it, fuckwit, don't do it. And so I just sat there, and then I turned on a show on my iPad and got a bit distracted, and I put the tablets down, and I got distracted, and I picked up 2, had my 2, and left it at that. So every day are challenges for me to not go back, because there is no real option of failure for me in this, because now the drugs you can't get them. If Australia had not brought in the ban and make them prescription only, I don't know what it would have taken to stop me. I'd still be doing it. I guarantee you without a doubt, I would still be doing it, still be doing the same amount. You know, they vary depending on what happens in the day. But yeah, I'd still be doing it. So in a way, this has forced me to face it, deal with it. And I wanted to not, through the process, not become hooked on a crutch to get me through it. I went on some antidepressants that they told me would help with the anxiety, because, of course, come 4 or 5 o'clock, I start feeling anxious. By 7 o'clock, my body has this weird system where my stomach starts to feel a bit uneasy. My limbs start to ache a little bit. That's the key. That's my body saying, come on, start. It's, you know how long it takes to sit and take 40 tablets? It's a bit of a process. And the amount of water that you drink, you know, I take 2 or 3 at a time. But the amount of water, you just feel like a waterlogged. Bleh. Anyway, so getting used to not having that ritual of 10 minutes of my life sitting there, cracking open the tablets, laying them out in my hand, having my water there, popping and popping and popping and popping. I don't have that anymore. It's 2 tablets a drink and it's done. It's kind of like, the ritual's gone. It's the hardest thing to explain. I don't guess that anyone would understand it unless you've had some similar thing. So here I am, 3 months in, down to 2 tablets at night. Every day's a struggle. Every single night. Even though I know that taking more will make me feel crook, the desire to still do it's there. Every single day, I think, God, what I wouldn't give for some Valium, what I wouldn't give for a shit ton of sleeping tablets, what I wouldn't give to have my codeine again, what I wouldn't have to have that feel when you take too much, that your body feels like scratchy and tingly, and you get this weird sensation, and I miss it. I'm an addict. That won't ever go away. I can't ever have these again. I can't ever, once I'm off them, my doctor and I talked about keeping some as a backup. That came from, I have 5 tablets in my car. I don't think I could allow myself to have them in the house. I think for me and my way of dealing with this is I just have to stop. I can't have the temptation of them being there because I'll just gut them. I just will. So it's putting myself in a position where I can't fail, and finding the balance for me, because everyone's different. Everyone's different. But this is my story, my way of going through it the best way I could. It's a funny story about coming clean to a group of friends, hairdressers. The most beautiful women. There was a man there as well. We're all sitting out the back, and I started to, sort of talk about my story quite openly, because I thought by talking about it, although there's a ton of shame involved, I thought, you know what, you just got to do it. So I did it, and they all sat and they all listened, and I could see, because people that look at me wouldn't know. I hid it so well. Another friend of mine, number one Neely, was just gobsmacked that I could function, and he just didn't know. We'd go to Rocky Bar, we'd be there for 2 weeks at a time. I would have to shop hard to make sure I had enough, because we were out west and there was no getting them. And, he'd sit back and reflect on the 3 years and go, wow, I would never have picked it, until he saw a documentary about a week after I told him about it. And wow, what an understanding he had of it then. So being around people like that, it helps. So talking to my hairdressers this day was such great therapy. These girls have addiction to alcohol, which would just be so bad. I just can't even imagine. So we openly talked about that. Month goes by, and I need to book another hair appointment. So I ring my hairdresser, leave a message, and then she rings me back, and she said, I've been busting to ring you. I said, oh yeah, cool, why? She said, well, after that talk, and after you being so brave and coming clean and telling about this, it makes me be emotional. She said she booked herself in AA, and she's been clean for 26 days, so no alcohol, and I was the inspiration. She thought if I could do this, then she could do that as well. So I found that out yesterday, so I just had goosebumps, and I felt really wonderful that my story had, even in the slightest way, has helped, someone else on their journey, because it's all a journey. So being, from my own perspective, learning to be tolerant and less judgmental of any form of addiction is a huge thing for me. I'm an empath anyway, but I'm no different to a heroin addict, in the fact that I am an addict. That will never go away. I have that title for life. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Very hard to think about that at the start, but it is what it is. And I'm embracing it now, and I'm just moving forward. And sometimes it's minute to minute, when days are bad. But, they're becoming less savage. But dead set, the more you talk about it, the better it is. Once you find a group of people who you don't feel judged by, that you can feel, even though they might not understand it, even though they might not fully comprehend what you're saying, the fact that they sit there and listen and just go, wow, good on you, we're here. It's a really big thing, and I would recommend it. I don't know if anyone's ever going to watch this, but I would really recommend being able to find someone you can talk to, and finding a good doctor. I feel really sad for people in Australia right now who, unlike me, may not have the support network to get off this. What they're doing about it, I don't know. Maybe they're going to other forms of drugs. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they've had to go through cold turkey, and oh my God, I can't even imagine. what that would be like. So there is help out there. You just got to find the right people to do it. And then life just does become a little better. And I think anyone that can get off this stuff, I think they're, good on you, 5 stars. Good job. It's not easy. It is so not easy. And I'm talking to the people now that are in this boat that know about the anxiety that goes along with the thought of quitting or, cutting down or getting off them completely. The physical side effects of getting off this. Everybody's body reacts differently, but I imagine we're all in complete understanding of the pain that is involved in getting off these drugs. And you just got to keep going day after day after day after day. And 3 months in, and here I am down to 2. So that's a success story for me. Still don't know if I can ever visualize not having them. My head's not there yet. After this many years on them, it's a huge part of your life. Your whole day is structured around control of these drugs, getting them, making sure you've got enough, going here, going there. It runs your life. You don't realise it at the time. You just do it because you have to, because you're an addict. You just do it. Now I don't do that. I've got way more time. That when I'm driving down the street, I don't have to look at which chemist I've been to and think, shit, I did them 2 days ago. Okay, I've got, I'll Google where chemists are. I don't have to do that anymore. I just don't. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I would start on this road to recovery by cutting out the sections of tablets that I was allowed to have each night, and I would lay them out and I would count them, and this would be everyday ritual. Count them, knowing that I had to go back to my doctor in a week, so I had this many. Now, did I include any extras in case I had a really bad day and I needed more? That does ease off now to the point where the doctor went last week. She said to me, or the beginning of this week, she said, have you got enough? And I went, you know what? Don't know. Haven't counted them. And she's like, wow. Because it's huge, because that was a big thing for me, sitting, counting, recounting. It was a bit of a mental issue. But given time and the support, these little tiny things slowly become less and less a part of your daily life, and that's a good thing. So all I can say, if anyone ever gets to watch this feral 5 a.m. in the morning, no makeup video, then good on you for starting your journey, no matter how you had to start it, if you're forced into it like me, or if you were ballsy enough to be able to stop by yourself. Just whatever you've got to do, and this can be for any addiction, talk about it. Doesn't mean the desire goes away, but just talk about it. And I really feel that that's the best thing that's helped me. So, signing off. I may rewatch this, I may delete it, I don't even know. Anyway, that's my tiny part of my story.